What's up, Legends? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking Black Ops 7 Zombies, specifically focused on the changes to Salvage. Now, you could call this a Salvage nerf, but essentially what's happening is they're going to increase the cost for upgrading Rarity through the Arsenal machine, and they're going to nerf the Suppressor a little bit, so it won't benefit us so much by giving us an additional, what I got from my testing, 20% extra salvage through Black Ops 6. Now, I did all of this testing, of course, in Black Ops 6, but thanks to the blog and, of course, Treyarch for sharing the information, we do have an idea of how much this change is going to impact us. Now, for this testing specifically, I went in, I didn't upgrade Rarity the entire time, although that's not important. I just did it for easy tracking of the amount of salvage that I had, and I kept track of what round I had whatever available to actually do the upgrade. And then I obviously did the same thing for the BO7 numbers so that I could actually compare. This is what, round you would be getting uncommon Rarity here on Black Ops 6, and this is the round that you would have been getting at in Black Ops 7 based on the information that we have. Now, honestly, the changes aren't super dramatic. For the uncommon Rarity, currently it's 500. It's going to be up to 1,000. And for rare Rarity, currently it's 1,000. And for BO7, it's going to be 1,500. The other change is actually to Epic. Currently it's 2,500. And Epic in BO7 is going to be 2,000. So the combination of basically of uncommon and rare, if you're going directly to rare, which tends to happen to me majority of the time, would be 1,500 in this game. But going into Black Ops 7, it's going to be 2,500. So it's a little bit of a steeper, I guess, upgrade process off the rip. And it'll take you a little bit longer to get there. But good news is, through my testing, I actually have some actual numbers to give you. So when I did a no suppressor run, when I got my uncommon Rarity, it was on round 6. Now, this doesn't seem too crazy. Most of the time, I honestly stay within the starting room in the beginning of my runs anyway. So I more than likely am going to save up. I'm going to either get uncommon and an ammo mod, or if I have enough by the time I get over there, or if I'm not struggling, I'll just go straight to rare. So at round 6, I was able to get uncommon Rarity if I wanted to. And then at round 9, I was able to actually get rare for 1,500. But when it came to the BO7 numbers, it was a little bit different. For uncommon Rarity, instead of being able to get it at round 6, it would have been actually round 8. And that is going to push you a little bit further forward. Again, most of the time, I'm not upgrading my Rarity too early anyway. So if I have to get uncommon first in BO7, I guess that's going to be something that does happen. The good news as well is normally before round 8, you do have access to Pack-a-Punch. You typically can Pack-a-Punch to level 1, which kind of counters the not having the Rarity for a little bit longer. When it came to rare Rarity, though, it was a little bit more steep because I didn't have enough for Black Ops 7's numbers until I hit round 11. Basically, the end of round 11, the start of round 12. I just called it round 11, but obviously flipping to round 12, you could debate it was either, and it gives you a little bit more of an idea of what point in the match that I actually had that. So it was a little bit steeper, being that it was at least 2 rounds, possibly 3 rounds, after the fact of getting it in Black Ops 6. Now, again, this is without buying any ammo mod for my weapon. This is directly just saving up salvage with just Rarity in mind. Now, things got a little bit more interesting when I got to Epic Rarity, because this is where things don't have almost any difference at all. In the current system of Black Ops 6, without a suppressor, I got it at the end of round 15, start of round 16, and I was able to basically at that point be able to go and get Epic Rarity. In Black Ops 7's numbers, based on that, it would have been round 16, and it's definitively round 16. So instead of being, at the end of round 15, we're, swapping over to 16, it was basically the exact same point in the match where you're going to be getting these epic rarities. Another thing I do want to mention is when the beta does come out, if this is something I can actually test, I will test this and see if it kind of matches the numbers that I'm already going with. But I'm pretty confident, just based on the information that we got and obviously the ability to test this in Black Ops 6, I think we're going to be pretty close. So being able to get epic rarity at the pretty much exact same point in the match between BO6 and BO7 without a suppressor is actually fairly good news. I know probably the early game, things are going to be a little bit more difficult. But like I said, being able to go and Pack-a-Punch the weapon once, even before considering doing any rarity, even if you're going to choose the uncommon one first, I think is just going to save you. And I don't think it's going to be all that big of a deal. The early game currently in Black Ops 6 is not difficult enough for me to say that this is going to be an issue currently in Black Ops 7. Just for more of a interesting part of this, when it came to legendary rarity, this is where the difference is only small. Like basically for the entirety of the rarity, it's only a 500 salvage difference from BO6 to BO7. So legendary, I was able to get it in BO6 at round 25. This in Black Ops 7 would be round 26. Honestly, not that big of a deal. You're probably already pack 2 by this point. You're already going to be epic rarity. I mean, in my opinion, you shouldn't have to be legendary in pack 3 until roughly round 30, just kind of depending on the weapon that you're choosing. Now, this may impact, you know, some of the weaker weapons because you're going to have to go a little bit further with them. So something like the GS45 would be fairly rough. But again, mentioned it already a couple times in this video, you can use the Pack-a-Punch to give yourself a bit of an edge before you actually go for these rarity upgrades. Now, this is also without doing anything on the side. I didn't do any side quests. I didn't do any shooting crystals or anything that could give me salvage outside of just shooting the zombies and picking it up as quickly as possible. No SAM trials, no nothing. So there is definitely going to be some things in the game that will allow you to get salvage a little bit faster. There's definitely going to be some things, maybe you run the suppressor. If it makes somewhat of a difference, then you could actually utilize that and you might get things a little bit faster than even the numbers I did without the suppressor. I do want to mention the Black Ops 6 suppressor part just a little bit because I feel like we're going to be somewhat near the same numbers. And there was some interesting information in regards to that based on rounds. Now, if you broke it down by the actual amount of salvage that you have, it does make a 20% difference. But I do want to just put a little bit of perspective in a round, you know, number base instead, because typically when you're going through upgrades, you're doing it on a round-to-round basis. So that's what's most important, and obviously things get more difficult as the rounds progress. So when it came to the BO6 suppressor, I was actually able to get enough for uncommon at round 4. But rarity lined up exactly the same as without the suppressor, then I was able to get it on round 9. I did have more than I did when I didn't have the suppressor, but it wasn't enough to make any more of a difference, and it wasn't early enough for me to get that rarity any sooner. Epic rarity actually surprised me a bit because same boat. I didn't actually have enough to get it any earlier, but I did get it on round 16. So even without the suppressor, I was finding myself with about the exact same salvage at the exact same point for epic rarity and even rarity than I did when I had the suppressor, right? So with or without the suppressor, I'm getting those two rarities at the exact same time. Now that actually only lasts to a certain point within the match because later in the match, more zombies start spawning in, more opportunities for the salvage to exist, more opportunities for that suppressor to benefit you. I did end up getting legendary rarity at round 23. So 2 rounds earlier than BO6 without the suppressor, and obviously 3 rounds earlier than what we pretty much think it will be for BO7. So it is a lot faster in terms of those rounds because obviously once you get into the 20s, you start getting the special zombies, you start having a little bit more issues, you get maybe more elites to start spawning at this point, and the zombies get a little bit more difficult. So getting that extra rarity a little bit earlier is going to be nice and beneficial. But up to that point, I would say it honestly didn't make much of a difference, right? Just based on the numbers on what rounds we got what, it pretty much lined up across the board. So my theory is that the suppressor will still be beneficial in Black Ops 7. Let's say, for example, it doesn't really make much of an impact similar to what we're talking about here. Maybe you get rarity at round 10, maybe you get uncommon at 7, that would be nice. Epic rarity is probably going to be the exact same at round 16. Hypothetically, maybe you get legendary at 25, possibly 24 with other things in mind, right? But essentially, I wanted to make this video just because I thought there's probably not a lot of negatives that anyone can pull out of the information that we were given. But I think if there was something negative that people could find, it would be in regards to the salvage nerf and possibly how powerful they might be at specific points within the match. But hopefully this will clear things up for you guys. Hopefully this will get you even more excited and even worry a lot less about this small change I think that they're making to the salvage. Realistically, even I have to admit, I thought it was going to be a lot more impactful than it actually is. But when you break down the numbers and you actually put it into play, it's not going to be a big deal whatsoever. Unless they just make the zombies in the early rounds with a lot more health and substantially hitting you for a lot more damage, I don't think it's going to matter at all, basically, is what I'm getting at. But that's going to wrap things up for us here. Thank you guys for all the support in today's video, all support in the channel. I look forward to seeing y'all in the next one. Peace!